Hello, Laura. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk about your wedding because it's pretty fresh. Just a few months ago, it happened.
hmm
So before we dive in, can you tell the listeners who you are, where you got married, when you got married, and maybe a fun fact about your wedding day?
Sure. My name is Laura Donnelly. I haven't changed it yet, but I am planning to. So back up at the Social Security office. Um, I got married December 27th, 2025 at Terrain at Styers in Glen Mills. And a fun fact, gosh, I didn't prepare anything. That's my bad. But I guess the fun fact, it wasn't really fun, but there was like a layer of ice on the ground at our wedding, and we still decided to do the ceremony outside. And it was fine. It was only a little bit numbing.
I was gonna suggest that as your fun fact because it was. I feel like a layer of ice is putting it lightly. I had to like hammer my car to break the ice off to go to your wedding that morning. It had rained ice the night before. I don't know
Yeah,
what
it
the
did.
weather term is, but it just rained and then froze immediately.
It
And so
did.
there was ice, and like on the drive to your wedding morning, there was just ice flying off of trucks on the highway, and I'm
Like,
like, oh my gosh,
risk
like
you take, right?
it's crazy, but it ended up being a beautiful day. And by the time the ceremony happened, the sun had melted
Yeah,
all of the ice and they had salted the paths and everything. So it was as if it never happened by the time you got married outside. So it was
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. It did turn
Crazy.
out well, but that was a risk we signed up for, so it's fine.
Yes. Did you always like envision having a winter wedding, or is it just kind of like circumstantial based on when you got engaged?
Kind of both. Um, when I actually started planning, I was like, "Ah, what do I do?" I was all over the place, and my best friend was like, "You've always wanted a winter wedding. What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right," but I didn't. I had no the idea of like when I wanted to do it or where. It was like spring, summer, winter. I don't know. Um, But looking back at my, Pinterest boards from 10 years ago, there was a lot of winter stuff on there. So I think it kind of just all worked out. Like with the timeline, I'm like, well, whenever you get engaged is like, yeah, if you get engaged in the spring, are you going to do it? You're going to do it next spring or the spring after. And we have to, you know, plan around what time of year it currently is when we start. So it just also kind of worked out. Things like kind of fell into place the way that it was just perfect.
Yeah. And you got engaged the winter before in 2020. Was it
We
2025?
Yeah, we got engaged in January of
Okay.
2025 and married in December of 2025. So yeah,
The
it's about
end of December.
yeah,
So like
the it's about
I feel
11
like
months, I guess, that we were engaged.
yeah. Like the
Mm-hmm.
only way you can have like a year between your
Mm-hmm.
proposal and wedding but still have the same like calendar date at the end.
Yep.
Amazing. I love that you had like a bunch of wedding pins on your Pinterest board. I feel like I've also had a Pinterest board going back however many years to middle school or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super overwhelming at first when you get engaged. You're like, the world is our oyster. We can do anything at any time, anywhere. What do
True.
we do?
Well, until you start
Um,
looking at costs, and then it
and then it changes.
then it changes.
Then it
But
narrows.
right.
So, what really spoke to you about Terrain at Styers? Like, why did you really like that venue for your wedding?
Um, I think I keep bringing up this same friend, but she's very important to me and she knows me better. I've known her since I was 4, so
Oh
she
my
knows
gosh.
when I don't make a decision, I tell her to make it for me. So she actually suggested it because she had gone to a wedding at Terrain, Devon, and she's worked in the industry herself as a planner. And she said, it's the way that Terrain operates. Like weddings, like they have, it's the restaurant, it's the store and everything, but the wedding people just do weddings. And she said, they're so good at what they do. You won't have to worry about anything. Like everything was beautiful and perfect. And um, when we got there to tour, she came with us. It was the three of us. It did really feel that way. That like everybody was like, "This is exactly, you know, how things go and how it's going to happen, and we help you plan along the way." And I was like, "Wow, I probably really need that because I don't know what the hell I'm doing." So
Yeah.
um, that was so nice. Also, because they had so many things included, I would say we only looked at two other venues, like in person, in the middle of February. So we were doing everything in winter. There was a layer of ice. We were like climbing a hill at this other venue. It was very treacherous.
My
But
gosh.
so many things included at Terrain. I was expecting it to be on the super pricey end, but it really wasn't when you break everything down. But like they do the food there, they can do florals, they help you plan for 6 months, which is almost unheard of anywhere else. Is going to make you hire somebody else. And I really, really didn't feel like keeping track, like even paying for a wedding planner, because my friend was going to help me. I was like, I don't feel like keeping track of like 7 different people. Like, I just want to like go somewhere and like we have a party and then we leave. Like, I'm talking to like this person that comes in, and so that was really long answer, a big factor for us. Both working full time as most other people are. I'm like I'm also like I keep saying that I'm old, but I'm not. But I
You're
just
not
don't.
old.
I'm not like I don't want to. I don't feel like planning a wedding, making it my whole personality for the next year. And I definitely didn't want it to go more than a year. I was like, it's fun at some aspects, but girls that have attention span problems, it's not it. It's not it for us. It's really stressful.
It's tough. It can be really tough.
Yeah.
It's so nice that your best friend is in the industry though, and she was like
Hmm.
able to guide you to such a great venue.
Yeah.
Because she's right. Terrain venues, they have three of them, I think.
Hmm.
All of them are run so well. I didn't know they had like a planner included for 6 months before the wedding. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of couples don't realize how valuable that is and like just how many balls you need to juggle the
Hmm.
couple months before your wedding. And I mean, I've been to so many different venues, and I can say, like, with my full chest, that at Terrain, they just really take care of all of their couples
Yeah.
and that the food is great, which you
Yeah.
can't say everywhere else. Uh,
True.
so it is such a great venue, and I'm really happy that you chose it and that it ended up being so perfect for your wedding day.
Yeah. And one thing I will say too is to any other planning brides listening, I've told a bunch of other people this, that when you go for a tour, well, first of all, they gave us like 2 or 3 free drinks, but like a coffee and all these other fancy stuff. You get a voucher for a free meal at the cafe, so you can try the food, whatever you want. We were going to another venue that day, so we just had breakfast, but it's like not cheap, and you could get whatever you want. Like you could probably go for dinner and get whatever you want. And I thought that was like a really nice touch to be like, hey, try the food on us. So, and then we did the tasting, of course, after, but it was nice to be able to try the food without committing. So,
Yeah, that's a great pro tip. I didn't know that either. And I've actually been to Terrain Devon like for dinner with some girlfriends.
yeah.
And that plus every wedding meal I've had at every Terrain venue has just been amazing. So
Yeah.
definitely use the free food voucher.
Hey, there's still time for you to
I know.
go.
Hey, so I'm planning on getting married in 2 months. So
I'm not saying bend the truth. I'm just saying,
that's so funny. Yeah, just say we're engaged and that's it.
right? They don't need to know.
They don't need to know. That's so funny. Um, So how was that length of like 11 months in regards to wedding planning? Did you like it?
I did, yeah. Like I said, I don't think I could have gone any longer because I was like, it's just anxious about, all the decisions and the timeline for making decisions. I said this before, but having the terrain planner, I'm pretty sure it was 6 months. And from 6 months out, so we started in the summer, um, we met with her, I think, once a month until the day. Um, and every time we'd meet, she would be like, her name was Carla. Carla's a pro. I think she's on maternity leave now, but anybody else goes to terrain, ask for Carla. Um, she would always say like, "Oh wow, you're so on top of things. Like you're so prepared and ready." And I showed up with a spreadsheet once, and she thought that was the funniest thing. But yeah, I don't think that the standard of like you need, takes a year or 2 years to plan a wedding. I don't think that's realistic. Like it doesn't have to. And we also got a discount for booking same year because we took the last Saturday they had. I didn't even pick that date because I liked it. It was the only Saturday they had left, and they were like, "We'll give you $500 off." And I was like, "Bet, let's sign me up."
Amazing.
So
I
that's
was going to ask too because it was a Saturday after Christmas. So I wondered
yeah.
if it was like you loved Christmas or something.
No, that's how I make decisions. But
Amazing.
I mean, not to get too off task or off whatever off track here, but I can tell you why. Yeah, we picked the date a little bit more. I didn't want a Christmas wedding. I wanted it to be winter, but like twinkly lights, um, warm family dinner vibes. But I was so adamant, like I don't want Christmas. I don't like red. I don't look good in red. I don't want anybody to wear red. And my whole family joked they were gonna, well, his family come in dressed like Santa, and everybody was gonna wear red, which nobody did, thank God. But um, yeah, that was their last Saturday. It was December 27th for the whole year that they had available, and I was like, I don't know. Between Christmas and New Year's, like it's weird, and then being so close to a holiday. I will say it was a little bit stressful for us, like seeing both of our families and then going the next day to the rehearsal, and then the next day was the wedding. But I heard a good point that, oh, in between that week, everybody's like eating a lot, they're drinking a lot, they're happy, they're not working, people are available. And I was like, yeah, that's a really good point. So our RSVPs, were high. Nobody was doing anything really. People were able to come and people had a good time, and the twinkly lights were my dream, so it just worked. It worked out.
Amazing. I love that. And it's so cool that you snagged the last Saturday of the whole entire year. That's awesome. Um, so do you want to describe, I know you've talked about it a bit, like the vibe you had in mind for your wedding was not Christmas, but wintry twinkle lights, like a winter wonderland kind of vibe.
Yeah,
What were some of the key parts that made it feel like that on your wedding day?
that's a good question. Probably the ice,
The weather.
the weather, being cold and getting dark at 5. We had the ceremony at 3:30 so that it wouldn't be dark. Um, well, number one, the twinkly lights. I think the cozy feel of terrain Styers. Um, like it's definitely like rustic. It's kind of small. Like it just felt twinkly. Um, the the velvet dresses for the girls, for my bridesmaids. I just love velvet. I was like, I want velvet. They were like forest green. You remember, you were there, but the
I
people
was
don't.
there.
They were velvet, and I had like, I didn't even say anything about that. I mean, my friends know I like velvet, I guess, but like 3 or 4 people showed up as guests in like different colored velvet dresses, and that made me really happy. Um, and then I would definitely say like the way that we had everything decorated, I knew that I wanted that big expensive ceiling install that we had with the lanterns, and it was everything that I wanted it to be.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. So that like the lanterns and the all the candles and the greenery and everything really um, contributed to that. And then also the family style meal that we picked. Um, I like variety and I don't like making choices, so that's part of why I picked that. But also, I think it really contributed to what I was going for. The vibe of like this can just be a continuation of your Christmas dinner. Like this is just us having dinner together. Like I wanted there to be a very distinct dinner time where we were like all seated. That was the thing that we were doing without many interruptions, and I think it really felt like that.
I love that description of like continuing Christmas dinner.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And I didn't realize that it was a family dinner style.
Yeah,
Because we were off eating our own dinner with the other vendors at that time. It was
yeah,
definitely a distinct dinner time, which is nice.
yeah.
Um, but I did really, really love the the way the reception room was decorated. It was like it was like a multi-part room, I guess you could say, where
Mm-hmm.
there was like a dinner room which had greenery, lanterns, and twinkle lights hanging from the ceiling over each of the tables. So that paired then with like the greenery and the candles on the tables is a really cool, like almost mirror effect.
Yeah.
Um, but it was so pretty. And then like um, there was a second part of the room where one of the walls was completely covered like in twinkle lights, like vertical stripes of twinkle lights. And
Yep.
that was like the dance floor room. That
Mm-hmm.
was the cocktail hour room. They flipped it.
Yes.
Um, so it was cool to have like the dedicated dinner space for dinner time and then
Yeah.
still have like twinkly lights for the reception. It wasn't just straight up dance floor.
Yeah. And the cocktail hour greenhouse in addition, which I didn't spend a ton of
Yes.
time in, but I do love it in there. And that was already decorated. That's another plus for terrain is that it's you don't need to add that much to make it look really nice. Because when we visited in February, it was still decorated for Christmas, or like winter a little bit. So they had greenery on the ceiling in their greenhouse already. And she said, yeah, that'll be decorated for Christmas. And outside too, they had like Christmas trees and stuff with lights on it too that we didn't pay for. It was just there. Um,
Which
which,
is huge because
yeah.
when you tour different venues, like I was very surprised venue touring to find out that a lot of what you saw was extra. Like, oh, if you want this decoration to be here, that'll be extra. And if you want us to turn on these lights or this fireplace, that's extra. So
Mm,
having all those little things included, it really does make a big difference.
yeah. I don't think they have a fire pit. I don't think that we had to pay extra for that. I'm pretty sure that was part of it. So that
That's
was nice.
awesome.
Not that there was a ton of people out there because it was pretty cold, but there were some.
There were some. There was a group that like hung out there for quite a bit of time, having a great time. And we did get some really cute romantic portraits out by the
Yes, we
fireplace
did.
too.
Yes, we did.
That was fun. Um, and I am glad we did get to use the greenhouse cocktail space for family photos for you guys
Mm-hmm.
because again it was cold. So we did like the wedding party pictures. I think we did some inside, some outside,
Yeah,
um, just to get some of the outside space in. But then when it came time for family photos, because it was right before the ceremony, we're gonna be outside for the ceremony. I
yeah.
think we decided like let's like warm up a little bit first.
Mm-hmm.
Do the
That
pictures
helps.
inside. Yeah. So how was doing the outside ceremony cold? Like, did you feel cold or did the adrenaline kind of take over?
I felt cold. I would say I'm not usually a people pleaser, but I was so concerned that like everybody was going to have an issue and be complaining and be like, "Oh my god, this is such a dumb idea." And in my head, I'm like, "I don't really care. It's our wedding." But I did care, and I was very concerned that people weren't going to be uncomfortable. And I was cold because I had this like tiny little shrug thing on, but I forget who timed it. They said it was only 12 minutes. So that was fine. I think, by the time everybody got cold, we were back in, and we brought in some blankets. I didn't end up having as many as I had planned, but some of my friends who didn't know each other were like sharing blankets and like met each other by like trying to stay warm, which was cute and like contributed to the vibe of that like just very warm like family, everybody is having a great time kind of vibe that I wanted. So, and there's a picture of I think like three of them under a blanket together, and it was very cute. They like
That's
never met
amazing.
before. It was like his friend, my friend from college, and then my friend from Philly, like who would never have met. So it was cute.
If not for sharing a blanket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the blankets were a really nice touch. And they also had hot chocolate
Hmm.
there for the guests at the venue. So
I did
they were
have to pay for
sipping.
that, but it was worth it.
So worth it. Everybody loved it.
I didn't get any, but it's
Oh,
okay. I didn't even know that it was there until I saw the picture. But
oh
everybody said
no.
it was good. I mean, I knew it was there because I paid for it, but I didn't
Right.
see it on the day. I was like locked in.
Can confirm that it was well enjoyed. Like most guests had a cup of hot chocolate in their hands. So definitely
Good,
well worth it.
good.
I also would love to. I feel like we're going backwards to the wedding day, but I
Okay.
would love to ask you about how the first look was for you, because you did
Yeah.
do a first look and then couples purchase before the ceremony. So, how was that moment?
It was good. I think it was a little strange because of the nature of terrain. It's like an operating restaurant. So they have those like little huts that they have for people, and there were like people eating in there, and like people like that worked there were walking around. So and we were inside the like mushroom house, and I think I asked you like get a picture with me and my mom over here, and he was already outside, and you were like he's outside, we gotta go, and I was like you can wait, he's fine. And he said he was out there standing and he wasn't allowed to turn around, so he was just standing there like in a full suit, and there were other people out there walking around, and he was like hey, just waiting for my bride. Getting
Poor
cold.
guy.
And then I
He's
showed
such
up.
a trooper.
So it was a little awkward. It kind of took me out of the moment a little bit, but otherwise, it was fine. It was nice. Um, yeah, I didn't really see a point in like waiting till till that moment because it was still special.
Like
And then,
waiting till the aisle.
right, yeah.
Yeah. So like, did how was it then walking down the aisle? Like, were you still thinking like, oh my gosh, that's about to be my husband?
No, I don't really remember, but in all the pictures, I'm like making these crazy faces. I think because I had already seen him and spent time with him, I was like, whatever. But I was like clocking everybody that showed up because
Oh yeah.
a couple of people were like, oh, I'm not going to make it, or I don't know if I can make it in because of the weather. And so I was just like walking down, like nervous, and I kept looking at who was here and then being like, oh my God, hey, oh my God, hi. And I was like not focused on the task at hand, which was just walking this very, very short aisle. But then when I got up there, I was like locked in. So that's okay. But
I
it
feel
wasn't
like it is.
like,
It's nice to be able to look around when you walk down the aisle because it is everybody you love, like there. So
Yeah.
I think it's cool that you're able to do that. I don't think that was a bad thing at all.
Yeah. That was funny. Because
How were
wasn't
the?
like,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it wasn't me like just like laser focused on him the whole time and he's like sobbing, but it's okay. I didn't need that.
No, it was such a beautiful ceremony too. Like
Thanks.
it was really nice to have you guys read vows to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like reading them in front of your guests?
Yeah, I actually have the books back here. I was thinking I remembered reading mine, but I don't even remember what he said because I was like, I was like, trying to be in the moment and all of that. So I've been meaning to like reread them or like have him read them to me. And I originally wasn't going to do it. Like I was considering doing like private vows and everything, but I saw this article the one time that was like, welcome to our wedding. You're invited to our wedding, but not to our vows or something. And it's like, when do we stop like declaring our love in front of people? That's like what the wedding is. Um, and I was like, yeah, that's true. And so I was like, hey, we're writing our own vows, okay? Like a couple months. Oh, I gave him time. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. And I was like, you're not going to do it till like the day before I know it, but you'll come up with something. Um, but no, it was nice. I think we like cracked a couple jokes. I made a joke about having all these cats and my father-in-law who's marrying us like I don't remember. My mom said like, "Oh, he looks so uncomfortable," or he like chuckled or something. I was like, I kept it light, but very sentimental at the same time. I don't know. It was good.
Good. I love that. I don't remember anything anybody says in their vows really. I always remember that's like good, you know? Because
Yeah.
I'm looking at to get your when I'm photographing you guys, I have like very logistical things going on in my brain. I'm like, okay, we need a wide shot of the ceremony, we need a tight shot straight on, and then we need a side shot of each of their faces, and then we need the wedding party. And so I'm like, and then we try and get the parents, and then so I'm
Mhm.
like doing all these things, but I keep like checking in with your vows, because those are like such important moments too. um
Yeah.
and I remember them being really nice and you guys like smiling a lot at each other.
Thanks. I
Yeah.
was smiling all day mostly.
Did your cheeks hurt?
No, no, I
Good.
don't think so.
Good.
My feet
Love
hurt.
that. Yeah. Did you bring a change of shoes at all or no?
I actually forgot to bring my slippers that I bought, but my friend, maid of honor, did remember. So she let me use those. And yeah, so I was in slippers for a while. And then I don't know what happened at the end of the night. Your guess is as good as mine. But I ended up like leaving in them. And so they were like super muddy. And the next day, I was like, what the heck happened to me? They were
That's
like fuzzy
funny.
slippers. They were like white. They were not white after that.
That's hilarious. Whatever happens at the end of the night, just getting home with your feet, trying to have your feet not be in pain.
Yeah, I remember a couple of things, but it was all very chaotic.
Yeah. It was a very fun reception. Um, what was the beginning part of the day like getting ready? You got ready at like a hotel off site.
Yeah.
But it's more like boutique style and the rooms are really big and pretty and spacious with lots of light. How was the morning?
Yeah, we got ready at the Fairville Inn, which is like a little bed and breakfast. It's like 10 rooms, I think. I would recommend it. Beautiful, expensive, but beautiful. Um, I did not sleep really at all. So my hair person came, and she was early, and there was still ice on the ground, and she had to drive in from Philly, and she was like, "Oh, I'm early," and it was like 6:30, and I was still in bed, and she's like, "I'm here, I think," and it was still dark, and I was laying in bed, and I was like, "Oh!" So I got up and like ran down to like let her in, and then I was like trying to wake everybody up because two of my bridesmaids were staying there with me, and then everybody else was staying at the hotel like with their husbands. So I was like, "Okay, let's go. Harris here. Everybody get up." And um, but it was fine, you know. I was like pretty glazed over most of the day from like not sleeping at all, but just like running on emotion and adrenaline, and I do apologize for that, for being a little bit scattered. I feel like you really helped me out a lot with like sticking to the schedule, like so much. I would have been way later than I already was if it wasn't for you.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad that I could help, but I really couldn't tell at all that you were like
Okay,
very sleep deprived. So
good.
kudos to you.
Well, no, I will say my one favorite thing about the Fairville is they do breakfast, right? So you can go down and get it, but you can also get it delivered to your room. So when we checked in, we like ordered what we wanted the next morning. And so around like 8, when everybody was there, we were getting ready, they brought up a whole bunch of food. So that was nice because I know a lot of people forget to eat. So we all like took a minute and like um, ate, except for my, like as soon as the food got there, there was nobody in the hair or the makeup chair, the hair chair or something, and we were like, "We need somebody in the chair." And I was like, "Mom, get in the chair now!" And she's like, "I want to eat my eggs," and I was like, "Get in the chair." We're on a schedule, so I think my mom's eggs got cold. So sorry, Mom, but that was a good part. We were actually like ahead of schedule until you got there, and you were like, "You need to get dressed," and I was like, "What? A dress?" And then there was like 50 buttons on that damn thing, and we couldn't get it. Um, so that was everything was going great until the buttons, and then we were like a little bit behind schedule, and the traffic to get over there. I was like, I started to panic a little bit. I was like, we're gonna be late. Um, and then so I guess I didn't start getting really stressed out until then. Otherwise, I was like pretty calm, I would say, just trying to enjoy. And then we got there and we started taking pictures, and like some of my family showed up like an hour early and was just like lingering around, and I was like, "What are you doing here?"
There's always the early guests, and I don't know why, but there
Yeah,
are people who arrive an hour early at every single wedding. So it's not just
so
you.
bizarre, so
They
bizarre.
don't want to be late. They don't want to
I
miss
really
anything.
respect that, I do. But like I was like, "Oh my god, sit in your car, why are you here? We're trying to do this thing and you're making me nervous." um but I do understand it was really cold, but
Yeah.
other than that, yeah,
And
things
we
went
were I feel
well.
like we got like back on track with time like really quickly.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were behind a little bit for sure. Um but I feel like once we got to the venue everything just kind of like unfolded well, and there was no like
Yeah.
true rush. I think we finished family photos like at the exact time on the dot that the venue told me we had to be done with pictures by. So it
Nice.
worked out perfectly.
That's
Um,
great.
but yeah, I always love to make sure there's buffer room for putting on the dress. Like I have like on my timeline, like putting on the dress, 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Just
That's
because
important.
sometimes you start getting dressed a little bit late, and then if there's those pesky buttons that just aren't, those little loops to put them in are very difficult to handle. And so if there's a lot of buttons, sometimes it just takes some time, and then you gotta put the shoes on and the
Yeah.
jewelry and everything. So it is a process, but
I have a
your
funny
dress was, go ahead,
wait, my dress was what?
awesome. But
Thanks.
go ahead and tell your story.
No, I was gonna say I have a story about that. For the buttons, I brought a crochet hook and everything. It didn't matter. It was like a 3-person job. But yeah, putting on the shoes and everything. There's a picture of me like holding up a necklace, and my mom's like this because I didn't decide what jewelry I was wearing until that second, which is
Do
so
you know
sweet of me.
there are so many brides that do that?
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
which surprises me. But it it must be like such a there's so many other things you got to worry about going
Yeah.
into your wedding day that's like I'll figure it out the day of. There are times when I have like photographed the wrong jewelry in the flat lays because they
What?
had multiple options and then didn't tell me like, "Oh, actually no, I'm not going to wear that. I'm wearing this instead."
That's so funny.
Yeah, so it
Well,
happens.
it was kind of like I didn't intend that. I was originally not going to wear a necklace because the dress was so embellished. It felt like it was too much. So I just had like bigger earrings with like a pearl, and they were nice. Um, and I got my dress back from the seamstress just a couple days. Like she had it for a while, and I got it back just a couple days before the wedding, and it was like pressed and ready. And I was like, oh, I can't try it on, so I'm just gonna wing it. Cause I was gonna try it on with jewelry like before, and it was like there was like cardboard in the bust. It was like ready to go. So I was like, there's no way. It's like when you open a package and you're not gonna put it back right, like there's no way. So I wasn't gonna mess with it. So I was like, it's fine, I'll just wear the earrings and I'm not gonna wear a necklace. And I have the little shrug. I didn't even try on that jacket with the dress. The
Oh my
jacket that I
gosh.
wore, I bought it from Amazon like a couple weeks before, and it looked really cute. Um, but but then I was like going through something a couple days before, and I found um, a set of like pearls that my grandmother had given me when to wear when she got remarried in like 2001, I want to say, and my sister and I were her flower girls, and she gave us each this like string of pearls to wear, and I found them, and I was like, oh, that would probably look good with my wedding dress since my earrings have pearls. So I was like, just I'll just throw it in and maybe I'll take it, or maybe I'll wear it. So that was me holding up the pearls to my mom, being like, should I wear these? And I ended up wearing them for the ceremony with the jacket and the pictures, and then having that be a little bit more like the formal look. Um, and then for like the cocktail hour and everything else, I took the necklace off and the jacket, and I had that fur like shrug that all the other girls were wearing, which they were colder than I was, I feel like, during the ceremony because I got myself a jacket at the last minute. I felt so bad about that, but they looked great.
They looked
Um,
great.
and so then I had no necklace and the pearls, or the shrug, like for the cocktail hour, and the gloves, the fingerless gloves.
Yes, the gloves were awesome. I did
And
not
then
know
I
those
took
were coming
those
out
off.
and they were great.
Yes, so I had like all these different looks. It was just fun because I went through so many like accessory like options in the journey that is designing, the bridal look. So I was like, I just wear them all, and then you have a picture with Quillen, my husband, wearing the
I
fur,
love that
and
picture.
it's one of his favorites. He always is like, "Oh yeah, look at that! Wasn't that funny?" But
Yeah, he was like wearing your fur and holding I don't know if it was his drink or your drink, and then you were getting a sticker out of the sticker machine and you were like so excited about the sticker. You
yeah,
had custom stickers for your wedding day.
yes. Well, I have one of them here. I don't know. It's a podcast. It's not really visual, but I had one of
Hey,
them.
that's amazing. I
The,
love that one. The shrimp.
the shrimp. That was my last minute add on because I didn't do a photo booth. I wasn't really excited about it, and I didn't do any other like extras because I was like, we're adults. We don't need to be constantly entertained. It's fine. And then I saw somebody post on the Philly Brides Facebook that she does custom stickers. And I was like, that's so fun because we like get a sticker everywhere we travel. We love it. We have had ideas about where to like put them and never committed. So we just have all these stickers. I don't know. Um, And so I was like, oh, what's one more cost, you know? And it was not that much, to be honest, compared to the rest of everything. But yeah, she designed them in a couple weeks for custom stickers and had her little machine at the cocktail hour. And I didn't, it was like my last thing that I added like a month or two before, and I didn't tell anybody so that they would all be surprised. It was so fun because my dad came over and he loves like old fashioned like vending machines, like candy and gum machines, and he has a couple in the house. And he came over and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool. I love a little vending machine. That's so cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I know you do. That's awesome."
Yeah, and the stickers came out of the vending machine. It was really
Mm-hmm.
cute.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like something kind of different.
Yeah, very different and a very fun, like extra thing to have at your wedding for sure.
Yeah.
So, wrapping up, I ask this question to everybody who comes on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, what is your biggest piece of advice for brides planning their wedding?
Piece of advice. Ooh, caught me off guard a little bit because I forgot we were doing this and I didn't prepare. I would say do what you want to do, which seems obvious. And you always think like, oh well, I am gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do what everybody else wants me to do. But there's always a level of that. You know, what are the expectations? What have other people done? I went to 4 other weddings last year before mine, and ours was very different because we did what we wanted. Um, so yeah, I would say that like just do what works for you and have fun.
Yeah, I love that because it's so true. Every wedding is different.
Yeah,
And the focus of the day is, of course, getting married and like celebrating that with people you love.
yeah,
And there are ways to enhance that. But I feel like if there's a part about your wedding day that you feel like pressure to do or to include
yeah,
that you like don't love, then that part of the day is you're gonna like feel kind of icky like looking back on it, or like maybe even in the moment you're just gonna be like, oh, that's right, this has to happen or something like
yeah.
that.
True.
So it is important to like very much make sure that everything at your wedding is like, we sign off on this 100%. We're
Yeah,
so excited about this.
yeah, and only invite people you like. I feel like
Yeah.
that's becoming such much more of a thing now where like a lot of like us millennials, or I don't know if you fit into that, but me millennials, like, we're not inviting all of our moms' besties. Like, I did because they're my best friend's moms, but your mom isn't like drafting your guest list. Although I do have a friend whose mother in law did that, and that was really a point of contention for them. And I was like, I'm inviting people that I like so that it's going to be a fun time because I'm not inviting any rude people. Only like fun people are coming. And that's what I did.
Yeah. There's definitely been a shift recently in like really being intentional about who you invite to your wedding. I think
Yeah.
because it is such like an intimate day, even if it's a
Yeah.
larger wedding, it's very vulnerable to declare your love in front of everybody,
Yeah.
um and then to celebrate that afterwards. Like you want only good vibes, like
Yeah.
that's it, just good vibes, so
Yeah.
the people at your wedding contribute to the vibes. So
Absolutely.
I love that piece of advice. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was so fun to talk about your wedding that's
Yay.
already like a couple months ago. It's crazy.
Almost 3 months. Yeah,
Yes, you're a married woman now.
I am. Thanks so much
Yes,
for having me. I had a good time.
I'm so glad. I did too.